What's going on, guys? I'm Jerome Jones. This is my boy Kevin right here, and we are here for a special Senior Bowl Inside the Hashes edition. We are live from Mobile. This is Inside the Hashes' fourth time being down here, but Kevin, this is your first time being down here. How are you feeling? How was the day for you, man?
It's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's happening, a lot of moving parts.
Busy.
It's very busy. We got up around six to go to the press conference in the morning, which was definitely worth it. It was really cool.
Who thought so?
Really cool to hear Jim Nagy talk and the captains Kenny Pickett and Fedarian Mathis. They were both really good interviews. And then you had the two practices after. Pretty good weather most of it. It's weird. It was kind of shifted between being cold and then the sun would come out. But it was really fun. The atmosphere, I don't know how it was last year with COVID, but I can't imagine the atmosphere was even close to the same that it was this year.
Yeah. I mean, this event, I always look forward to coming to this. This is a event that Inside the Hashes have to come to every year, and kudos to Jim Nagy and his team that does a wonderful job getting all the setup. And I know a lot of them run around just as much as we have been this morning to get this even set up. So I can't complain about what we had to go through this week. But it's just been cool to be down here, and we're down here for the rest of the week. So we'll be here for practice 1, 2, and 3, and as well as the game on Saturday. So make sure you check us out each day for that. But let's get right into some of the stuff that we've seen today in the practices. So as you guys probably already know, we got the Jets team down here, we got the Lions team down there, and they, checking out these guys. Jets had the first practice of the day. Lions finished the day off today. I want to know, Kevin, what are some things that jumped up to you right away? Not particularly a player, but anything in particular in the practice.
So I feel like, and this is something this is something people down at the stadium and I both commented on. I heard this from a bunch of different people. I feel like more players stood out in the first practice. Like there was more individual players who just stood out more than others. The second practice, everyone like there was still people standing out, and of course I wasn't able to see everyone. You're not able to see everyone. That's why there's 3 days. You have 3 days to go and try different position groups. But I feel like the first day there was more clear standouts, and it also has to do with how the rosters are positioned. Because I still feel that the first group of wide receivers was stronger than the second one. But overall, I mean, it didn't feel like there was many players out of place today. You know, sometimes there can be a couple players who don't make the transition to the All Star game as well as others, and there's like that clear talent gap. I don't think there was that much this year. Like they got some really high quality players down in Mobile this year.
As always, as always,
as always, there's always high quality, but it just seems like the quality of the back end of the roster just keeps going up and up every single year as they just keep tightening their stranglehold on the draft all-star games.
Definitely. So one thing I'll say is one thing I noticed was especially between the two teams was that the practice styles. I mean, two completely different practice styles. You had the first team, which is the Jets. They had more of a structured, individual drills. Then we had the positional drills, and so individual positional drills. Then we had the one-on-ones. Then they had offense and defense, and then they had kind of the mini kind of scrimmage kind of thing right there. And as we're talking, we have our first comment. So if you have a comment here, you can pick your comment in there. Chris, my man Chris says, "What's up, the fam? We'll see y'all tomorrow." Yes, Chris. Chris will be here tomorrow. He'll be here after the last practice. So it won't be on our podcast, but he will be in for the last practice, and he will be here for the game. So Chris, can't wait for you to get down here. Hope you have a safe trip. Hope you staying warm because I know it's cold up there in Jersey.
It is.
I know it's freezing up there.
It's horrible.
And I'm glad that we're down here and you're. Anyway, I'm joking. I'm messing, man. But for sure, it's a different feeling down here, and it's great to be down here where it's warmer. It can get a little chilly at night, but it's definitely warmer. Definitely. No snow. You don't have to worry about all that, and you can just enjoy football. So I'm just definitely good with that. But to get back on what we're talking about, and then like I said, the Jets had more of a structure where the Lions, and it's not discrediting the Lions. I'm just more used to that kind of structure. The first structure, the Lions kind of did it a little differently, where they had individual drills, and then it was more like one-on-ones, and then they had like a mini scrimmage, but it wasn't not long. So you had a lot longer of a one-on-ones in that sense. So Chris says, got my hot tag ready, especially for Desmond Ritter. So
I'll give it another practice before I release hot takes on him. That's the thing. I don't want to. I can give winners from the first day, but there's 3 practices. I don't want to give losers off of, because what happens when someone comes out and absolutely destroys it the next 2 days? You know what I mean? It's tough. It's the first day. People can get out of their system and rebound with the game on Saturday and all that. But like, I there wasn't that many bad standouts anyway. More good standouts.
But speaking of that, let's get right into it. Our day one practice players rather. What are some guys that you like some guys that stood out to you. We're gonna go position by position. So with you first, what is maybe a quarterback or two that kind of stood
Okay.
out to you today?
So I definitely won't be able to go every position because I was kind of roaming around, but I can do most. I think that two of the quarterbacks in the American team for the Lions, as I'm making sure that's them, yeah. Um, Both Malik Willis and Sam Howell, I think, showed their better sides today. Both showed there was a lot. They just seemed more consistent than the quarterbacks we saw in the first practice. There was good flashes of quarterback play with the first group of guys, especially from Strong and Pickett, but it felt like a first day practice. I think that the second group were a lot more locked down, and I'll give credit to Zappy too because I think his arm looked better than I thought it was going to. I mean, not that it looked great. He doesn't have like a big arm, but it didn't look passes didn't look like they were dying on him. But just watching Willis and Hal, it looked like they gave their best efforts today. Their arms looked really good, especially Willis. I know there's kinks to be ironed out with Willis, and maybe the All Star game isn't the best way to properly evaluate all the weaknesses he has. But just displaying what he does well, I don't. He's one of the most natural throwers I've seen in a good while. The ball just flies right out of his hands, and he can do some special things on the run. And I really did like the way how he made a couple throws where he would move to his right, run out right, and still find the receiver. And I like that because that's one of my biggest things with him is under pressure. So good on Willis and Hal. They made a good first impression on me the first day of practice. And they're two of the quarterbacks that needed the most too because Hal's kind of not fallen in the rankings, but because of situations, he didn't rise like people hoped he would.
Yeah, he definitely fell in the rankings. I
Yeah.
mean, he was supposed to be the first overall pick this year.
Yeah,
And
yeah. But
that's
that was
right.
also projecting he was going to get better, and it's hard to improve when everything around you just kind of leaves you. And I mean, this is everything for Willis because here he's not held back by a very confusing scheme. There's no more bubble screens on the goal line, and he's playing actual top level competition. We can get a real gauge of how good he is. Again, the arm looks really good. Like he's there's one thing you can't say about Wilson, it's that he's not talented. There might be little issues there in his game, which I definitely think there are, but the man has extreme talent.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with the two that you said, man. They definitely stood out more in the last practice that we got to see. I think that as we go along, we'll start seeing who's more consistent, and that's going to be the problem. That's going to be the thing with both Howe and Malik Willis. So
Definitely.
we're going to have to see how consistent they can stay, and if it carries on to the game. I know the game is not the most important part, but you do want to kind of see them in game situations as well as much as you can. So I think that would be that would be a good test for them. Let's move on to the running backs. Who stood out to you today as far as running backs? I mean, my guy Haskins did not come today. Very disappointed and very sad about that. I was looking so forward to that. If I would known this, I would have never came down. I'm just joking. But
you guys had a good lineman today, at least. But
who stood out to you as far as running back?
There was a couple of running backs in the national team for the Jets in the first practice that stood out for me. I really was excited to see Arizona State's Rashad White down there because he was someone that I think never really got the chance at Arizona State to be like the full-time starter. He was still splitting carries in a system where you see a lot of quarterback runs as well. But whenever he got the ball, it seemed like he would do magical things. He had one of the longest runs of the day where he made a nice cut and then just exploded away. He's got a really good top level gear and he gets there quick. I like Rashad White. I didn't get running backs I didn't get to see a ton of outside of like the simulated team drills, but Tyler Beatty from Missouri, who I believe was a late addition to like only a week or two before the game. He was one of those guys that could have been seen as a loser from the measurements because he's only about 5'7", 5'8" ish, I believe. You know, whatever the exact height was, he was undersized, but he played really well today. He looked patient behind his blockers, and in the open field, he was just extremely hard to catch. You know, very slippery, just very good in the open field, very good movement. I was a fan of it. I mean, he got his chance this year with Missouri and killed it for them, and I was really impressed. I think he can, if he has 2 more big days, and of course the game, he can find himself a role. Jerome Ford from Cincinnati looked explosive as all heck. That's some, and obviously running backs aren't going to be able to show in the drills just how effective they can be because there's no tackling and the O lines kind of got beat up by the D line a little bit in those. But I wanted to see if he was as powerfully explosive as he is on film, and he is. Also, Devontae Price from Florida International also looked pretty dang good today. Had a really big run today, but I didn't get to see the Group 2 running backs as much, so I don't want to discredit any of those guys.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely agree with Rashad White. I think he was probably the most effective player out there as far as running backs.
Yeah, him or Price, because I know
Yeah.
Price. Everyone was raving about Price. I saw a couple really good runs.
Yeah.
But White looked good today. He definitely did. He's a guy Jim Nagy was really boasting about and touting about a month or like months ago, like in October, November ish. And those guys usually are pretty good. They don't invite bad players anyway, but when they're really pounding the table for a guy, they usually show up to Mobile and do their thing, and that's exactly what he's doing so far.
Definitely. I agree with that, and obviously, I'm going to point out the guy with the greatest name on earth, Mr. Jerome Ford. Yeah, he really impressed me not only for his great name, really good out there, and I really like how explosive he looked and being able to get in and out of holes. And like Kevin said, it was no tackling, obviously, so that does affect it in a sense, but
Definitely.
it was definitely something we could do it. Um, we got Mr. JAC. What's up, JAC? He says, where can I see 101 front?
So I'm trying to figure that out myself right now, but I know I'm pretty sure yeah, I'm pretty sure the next 2 practices, and you can look this up on your TV, are supposed to be they're supposed to be televised on ESPNU. They're going to be on one of the ESPNs, so go check your TV listings, record it if you can, because usually they, especially for wide receiver corners, they heavily feature those on TV because those are everyone wants to see the skill position. Like as much as I love the defensive line positional drills, as much as I love to see 1v1s on the D line, it's not as big of like a ratings getter, or it doesn't get as many like views as seeing guys take each other one on one and run halfway across the field, 7 seconds into the route, make a move, and hey, he torched his guy. That's the one on ones with the senior ball kind of silly with that because a guy will run 10-second route, make a move, and they're like, oh, he cooked them.
Yeah.
Nah, the DB was doing it. The ball's either out by then, or the quarterback's on the ground.
There was a situation where they was on one-on-ones, and the receiver literally went all. He did like 3 moves like that, and went all the way to the opposite side of the field. I'm like, that's not fair on the DB because you're using the whole entire field,
right?
Where there's no other traffic or there's no other safety over there or whatever. That's not
yeah. And Zion played that route pretty well.
Yeah, he has. Our guy Zion.
Big
But let's talk some receivers, man.
Yeah.
And before you even go, I want to point this guy out because I want you to steal my guys because you've been doing that since we got here.
My
So
bad.
no, it's not you. But
Okay,
I'm gonna say this guy,
yeah.
man. He stood out to me like a sore thumb. I don't know how everybody else.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about
Christian Watson from North Dakota State. I mean, the size, the speed, the route running, the catching. There wasn't a lot that I didn't see from him that I didn't like. I mean, I would like him to be a little bit better with. It seemed like he didn't have the playbook all the way down certain plays.
I don't think most of the guys did.
Which, yeah,
a lot of these guys.
First day of practice. I mean,
there's a lot of miscommunications.
I can't nick him on that too much, but like when this man was on. He was out there. You could tell he was very confident in what he's doing. He was swagging out. Like I really like this kid. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on him for the rest of the week. But Kevin, I'm gonna let you go because I just wanted to put that up there.
Yeah,
so probably still my guy.
Christian Watson, yeah, he was gonna be the first guy I was gonna mention. We're talking about a 6'3", 6'4" receiver who Jim Nagy tweeted this out because they were doing the on-field speed tracking, which is way better than 40 time. And Watson hit over 20 miles an hour, almost 21 miles an hour at 6'3", 6'4". Like, he's a big guy that can fly. He just did everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if he dropped the pass. He just looked like Mr. Reliable today. And again, today didn't even feature his best part of his game, and that's being electric with the ball in his hands. Like, he's a guy that I don't even know what his ceiling to get drafted as. Also, really high on the list was Rachaad White. He had over 21 miles an hour. I felt the first group of receivers with the national team was pretty solidly better than the second one today. I think that miscommunication aspect we were talking about earlier was evident in the second group, whether that's on the receiver, whether it's on the quarterback, who knows. But beside Watson, I think Romeo Doubs from Nevada really impressed today. Separated pretty dang easy. Was faster than I thought he was going to be. He killed it all year with Carson Strong as his lead vertical threat, and it's hard to not see him being a good vertical threat in the league. Alec Pierce had a drop, which soured me a bit at the beginning, but he recovered well from it. He's faster and moves better than I thought he would at that size. I liked Khalil Shakir from Boise State. Alec Pierce from Cincy, by the way. But I like Shakir's movement in the open space. And one of my favorite guys, Calvin Austin III from Memphis. He's small. He's not going to fit every offense at all. He's not. Don't ever take him out of the slot, and you better be creative with him. But he's just such a dynamic threat and separates so easily. And it was on display today. I liked how Austin looked.
Definitely. And
I mentioned that many times throughout the practice today. Jalen Tolbert didn't look bad either today. He made some nice catches.
Yeah, he had some strong hand catches. I like.
I
like his hands. That guy plucks it out there, and I love that about him. He got strong hands. Let's get to your favorite position, offensive lineman.
Oh, we're just gonna skip tight end.
Yeah, you're gonna get to it.
Oh, my bad.
Hold on.
Oh, my bad.
Offensive lineman. Let's talk about them, man, because that's your position. And,
yeah.
I want you to really kind of get into that position. I'm not the strongest at offensive line.
Yeah.
But that's your strong suit. So who stood out to you?
So I'm gonna preface this by saying that I only watched the O-line from the national team in the first practice. I was more. They did. I don't even know if they did one-on-ones with the corners and wide receivers in the first one. It wasn't nearly as long as what they did for as the American team, because they had like a nearly 10-minute one-on-one session.
It was a long,
But the first guy that immediately stuck out to me for the national team was Boston College's Zion Johnson. Is an interior lineman. He took some snaps at center because the national team literally doesn't have a center. This is a definitely weak center class. There's only 2 or 3 that I know of in the draft. Not saying like notable ones. Like there's only 2 or 3 guys I know in the draft. So basically, they told all these guys, "Hey, you're gonna take some snaps at center, so teams can see versatility." And I mean, Johnson just he's got very good natural leverage, very good length. He was just very dominant today. I loved what I saw from him today. He is the guy that I think could possibly sneak into the back end of the first, and be a really nice guard for a team. Michigan's Andrew Stuber was also pretty good. He was bigger than I thought he was going to be, and he held up pretty well. There were some reps that he lost in the 1v1s, but I thought he played pretty well. Abe Lucas from Washington State, he was pretty effective in the run game in the simulated team drills, which was very nice to see. You know, you get a little worried. We try not to helmet scout, but big big athletic tackle from Washington State scares me because of Andre Dillard, but he looked good in the run game, man. And like I said, they all looked pretty solid on the line, but really just Johnson, Lucas, Stuber, maybe Penning. Penning had some solid reps. I thought he did pretty well all day. It was up and down for most of these guys. Like Falele had great from Minnesota had great reps where he looked absolutely massive, and then there was reps where Sanders took him 1-on-1, bent right past him, and also put him on his butt the next rep. So I want to see more consistency from the O line group next tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I don't want to make a comment on the O line group for the American squad yet because we only saw them in basically O line drills. You know, no 1-on-ones, no positional anything. We just kind of saw their movement drills. So we'll talk about those guys tomorrow because I'm really looking forward to guys like Darren Kennard tomorrow.
All right. Since you want to go to tight ends, let's do the tight ends real quick.
Yeah.
One guy that stood out to you the most.
So they all look good. Pretty much most of the tight ends all looked good today.
Literally the deepest class here.
It's like there was no point where you watch any of the tight ends and say, why the heck is this guy here? If there's 2 guys that I think stood out, it's Trey McBride from Colorado State because he's really good. Like he's really good.
He might be the best route runner out of all of them.
Yeah, if there's a tight end that's going to sneak into the first round, it's going to be him. I remember saying to you when he was, I don't think he will. I think he'll be an early second. But I remember saying to you while watching him, I was like, my gosh, this man's got like the most muscular legs I've seen. Like it was ridiculous. Also, Jeremy Rucker from Ohio State, he made some absolutely crazy catches away from his body. There was one across the middle of the field. Ball wasn't placed well. It was too low, too away. And I mean, he bobbled it turning over, but I'll accept a bobble on a catch he shouldn't be making. You know, I was very impressed. Rutgers always had good hands, though.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the defense. I mean, defensive guys, my side of the ball. We're gonna bunch these guys kind of in big groups, so as they were out there anyway. So let's do defensive line, linebackers, and DBs. So defensive linemen, or linemen, edge rushers, all that. Anybody stood up to you in particular?
Well, I already mentioned Sanders from Cincinnati. Yeah. He had those 2 reps against Falele. I hope I'm saying his name right, but you know, if I'm not, I'm sorry if you're watching, Daniel. I'm sorry. Make sure to comment and let me know how I'm saying it wrong. But he jumped on a fumble that I believe came from Kenny Pickett, which I don't know. I don't want to say he was wearing 2 gloves too, but he also had a nice play in the run too in the team drills. Travis Jones from Connecticut. I sent a tweet out. I made a voice memo. I said this dude from Connecticut is around the ball every single play. every single play he was around the ball. I was so very impressed. Dominic Robinson from Miami, Ohio. All I needed to see from him was flashes of athleticism, and he had flashes of game wrecker out there. He was athletic, used power. We're talking about a guy who was a wide receiver 2 years ago, and he was a standout on the line. Perion Winfrey from Oklahoma looked good. He looked the UCLA defensive tackle Agbanya. I literally did a voice recording and I said, "Do we have another great UCLA DT here?" And both of the Penn State dudes looked really good. I heard Jermaine Johnson from Florida State looked incredible today. I wasn't able to say, but I heard he looked incredible, which doesn't surprise me. He's very good. I want him in Philly.
Yeah. There's one name I'm gonna just throw in there as well, is Logan Hall. He did some great stuff as well.
Yeah, good call.
I think he looked really well, and he fit in. I seen him, and I was like, man, like he don't look like he's an underdog right now in this race. He look like he belongs in the top name. So
feels like every year we're gonna have a Houston guy on the defensive line who's really good, because I really liked Peyton Turner last year.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to the next one. Linebackers. Who's some linebackers that might have stood out to you today?
So I'm just going to go off of what I heard, because I will be completely honest with you guys. I did not pay attention to linebacker this time. I didn't. Why? I don't know. I mean, I'll include Lucetta, I guess, from Penn State, even though he's more an edge linebacker hybrid. I heard Chad Muma from Wyoming played great today, which doesn't surprise me because his film is great. Like he as a run stopper,
they produced some linebackers like that.
Yeah, man. Like I was a big Wilson. I was a big Logan.
I'm a huge Logan Wilson fan.
He
had a good exception in the playoffs too.
Mm-hmm. So. Like I was a big Logan Wilson guy.
Hope Ray's listening. Hey Ray, you listening?
Oh yeah, because he was
If y'all not watching RPO podcast, make sure you're watching RPO podcast. It's hilarious. Me and Ray always go at it about Logan Wilson every single year. I was high on him. He did not like him, and now he's kind of turning his words around a little bit. But anyway,
like I said, that I just heard Muma was really good. Other than that, I'm not going to speak on what I didn't say. And I'm going to hold off the one guy I heard was really good for safety.
Okay. Well,
DBs, yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about DBs now. So who you got, man?
So I watched more of the DBs from the American team than the national team, actually, because I was more focusing on the line battle for the national team. What really stuck out to me, Clemson's Mario Goodrich. He was a guy I didn't really know much about coming in. I know he had a pick in the what they play in the Cheez-It Bowl, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he had the game-sealing pick there. But he was a guy the Senior Bowl was big on, and he was as advertised. He was physical, bruising, right in the face of every wide receiver, and there was plays where he just completely locked them down. Like it was great. Another guy who did that was Tariq Woolen from UTSA. He had more of an up and down day, which is kind of be expected by corners. You know what I mean? It's hard to win every rep as a corner, especially when you're playing against really good receivers on an island in a 1v1. So there were some times where he did get done in, but there was some reps. I'm pretty sure it was him, where he would just absolutely jam someone at the line and stick with them. I'm pretty sure it was Woolen. It was either Woolen or Goodrich that did this, but the quarterback couldn't even get the ball off because the guy couldn't get off the line. He just absolutely jammed and pestered the guy off the line, and there couldn't be a throw. A lot was made about Rodney McCreary with his size and arm length being small, but as he was at Auburn, he was really good today, and
he's a gritty dude.
He's a great guy, sticky in coverage. He played some slot reps today, which I know it's seen as like a bad thing, I guess, because like everyone's like, oh, they're just putting him in the slot because he's small. But if you look at his tape when they played Alabama, he played Jamison Williams really well on some of them slot fades. So it doesn't hurt to have a guy that can go in and out at all. I know they do. I know the Rams on occasion will do it with Ramsey so that he can roam around and make plays. Mm-hmm. So I liked McCreary today. He impressed me again. It's not all about measurables. And someone on the national team I didn't get to see, but I heard Jalen Petrie from Baylor was an absolute pest today. When I was talking with other with actual scouts there and such and other writers and analysts there, they were all just raving about Jalen Petrie, which I'm very happy to see because he's a very fun player that can be used all over. He's almost going to be like I don't want to say Porterman's because that kind of says that he's not that good, but he's almost like in the same mold as Owusu Koromoa last year, where he doesn't really have that set position. But that's just what I heard. Maybe everyone I talked to maybe was wrong now.
I will say I want to point out a guy as well because him and Watson, who I was just talking about earlier, Christian Watson, was scoring that, and I think it was Kobe Bryant. He had a really good game, good practice as well. He kind of stood out to me going against Watson. So for my eyes, kind of shift over to him, and as many times as Watson gave him trouble or got open, it was just a good play by Watson because Kobe Bryant was on him like the entire time. So it was really good coverage. Watson just had better route running or got open, which is hard for a DB to kind of cover.
Definitely.
So I think he had a really good game. Well, practice, not game, practice as well.
Cam Taylor-Britt also had some a couple of impressive reps. I remember they were doing the one screen drill where they would have someone coming out on a bubble screen, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing because I'm trying to remember from memory, but they were basically throwing out to the flat and having a receiver block the corner, and he absolutely. I don't know if you remember this rep or not, but he absolutely barreled through the receiver to make the tackle, and that I know it's a practice setting, but that sort of thing impresses the heck out of me. If you want to be someone that's going to make the back end of a roster, you need to be able to do things like that. With the game becoming so dependent on getting the ball out quick and getting people into space, screen game, RPO, all that sort of stuff, you need your defensive backs to be able to be physical and tackle. 100%. And I really like that rep from Taylor-Britt there. As I think I might have fumbled his name earlier, but yeah.
Definitely. Well, yeah, that was going to do it for us today, man. That was a great day. I'm so glad that Kevin had his first experience at the Senior Bowl, and he got to talk to a lot of great people down here. And it's just beginning, man. This is only day one, so make sure you check us out tomorrow. We'll be on live as well, so make sure you stay locked with Inside the Hashes. Make sure you check us out on InsideTheHashes.com. You find all our content. Check us out on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Inside the Hashes. Inside Hashes. Make sure you follow this guy, Mr. Keppen. What's your handle?
At Jacob Keppen. Jacob spelled like Jacob, Keppen.
And to make sure you check out Inside the Hashes or on there as well. And also make sure you check us out on our YouTube channel. If you are not like and subscribing, or please do that. We got the QR code right down there. So make sure you go in there, hit that QR code, like and subscribe to get on our YouTube channel. And that will definitely help us out. And if you want to be on our live interactions, like the few gentlemen that was on here earlier, you can definitely do that as well. We got our guy Chris coming in the next couple of days. So guys, we got some great content. We're gonna have some great things to talk about with the Senior Bowl. Like I said, it's just beginning, so I'm super excited about it. Hope you guys are super excited about it, and we're gonna keep this rolling all through the week. All or from social media will have some type of some kind of Senior Bowl content on there. So make sure you go check that out. And on Inside the Hashes. So guys, thank you so much for coming on here. We'll see you next time. Y'all be safe and check us out tomorrow where we have some more content. Thank you so much. Have a good one.